Hi everybody! This is a presentation on the Amish subgroups by Bruce, Logan, and me, Megan. To introduce our topic, this PowerPoint involves the different Amish subgroups throughout North America. While not all 40+ groups are mentioned, 11 of the largest groups are. Each group presented lists information such as the year they were formed and important moments in each group's life or histories. The groups discussed are shown, so let's get started with the Old Order Amish. In 1865 in Wayne County, Ohio, Bishop Jacob F. Swartzentruber declared separation from progressive Amish to maintain the old practices. The Old Order Amish's name comes from the translation of Alte Ordnung, which means Old Order. Between 1860 and 1920, there were 62 new Old Order settlements created in 24 different states, including towns like Geauga, Ohio, and Arthur, Illinois. Characteristics of the Old Order Amish include plain dress, small-scale farming, horse and buggies with no slow-moving vehicle placards or flashers, and no telephones. Next are the New Order Amish. The New Order Amish were formed in Holmes County, Ohio in 1966. This group is one of the most liberal, and it all started with World War II. Young men old enough to serve in the military were forced to do civil service during the war, and they enjoyed it. These men started questioning their beliefs and started gathering for evening Bible studies. The New Order Amish were the group to start separating youth groups, deterring teens from partying, drinking, tobacco, and other outside influences. They are more progressive than Old Order groups, yet they have limits on their technology. They use phones and electricity, but only to the extent their community in Ordnung allows. The Mennonites were formed in 1536 by Menno Simons. Menno Simons was a Dutch Catholic priest who broke off from the Catholic religion due to differences in personal beliefs from his current religion. The Anabaptists who followed Menno Simons were nicknamed the Mennonites. Just like the Amish, Mennonites share a common Anabaptist heritage. Both groups did not believe in the harsh Catholic religious beliefs and rebaptized themselves in order to begin following a new belief system. Due to these different beliefs, the Mennonites were persecuted and burned as heretics, just like the Amish. As a result, the Mennonites came to North America for religious freedom and to escape religious persecution. Mennonites and Amish generally live in the same geographic areas, but do consider themselves separate from the surrounding Amish groups. In present day, many Mennonites drive cars, use some forms of technology, and are willing to use advanced education. This is difficult from the most Amish groups who are slow to change and view technology and driving cars as sinful. The Beachy Amish were formed in 1927. The founder was an Amish man named Moses M. Beachy. He became the first bishop of the Beachy Amish. Moses M. Beachy was known as a progressive Amish leader for two major reasons. 1. He refused to excommunicate or shun any members who left his Amish congregation for a more progressive one. 2. Beachy and his congregation believed cars to be beneficial and did not believe a car in itself was full of sin or temptation. While the group still follows the Ordnung, Beachy Amish have separated themselves in a few ways. As previously stated, the Beachy Amish drive cars, and in addition, they are also willing to use electricity, and some have phones and computers. Unlike most Amish, the Beachy Amish have their bi-weekly worship in a central church instead of in a member's barn. Lastly, this unique Amish group also partakes in mission trips, so the word of God may be spread to everyone, while most other Amish groups do not believe in the usage of mission trips. Next are the Swartzentruber Amish. The Swartzentruber Amish were formed in Holmes County, Ohio in 1917. This group is a subgroup of the Old Order Amish. A majority of the group's members still live in Holmes County, Ohio, and the surrounding area, but are also found in 12 other states and the province of Ontario. This group is considered one of the lowest groups in the Amish community and one of the slowest moving groups. The only forms of electricity permitted are battery-powered. The usage of cars is strictly prohibited unless there is an emergency. This means the Schwarzentroober Amish are limited to only driving as far away from home as the horse and buggy allows. The Amish people of this subgroup wear the simplest of clothing, which leaves minimal to no room in their eyes from sin and or temptation. Lastly, the Schwarzentroober Amish have minimal contact with the outside world and foreigners. This lack of contact assists the group in maintaining their low level and keeping true to their religious beliefs. The Elkhart-LaGrange Amish were founded in 1841. This group is considered the largest and the oldest Amish group in the state of Indiana. This group makes up 1/3 the population that lives in these two counties. This equals to roughly 20,000 of the 60,000 people in the area. Within these two counties are 177 church congregations. The layout of this group is very unique, as the more conservative members are found in the western county of Elkhart, while the more progressive members are found in the eastern county of LaGrange. The Amish of this area commonly work in the car-making factories or in small businesses. In 2002, the Elkhart-LaGrange Amish took part in a Rumspringa documentary known as Devil's Playground. Lastly, this area is home to the Shipshewana Flea Market. This market helps drive in thousands of customers, which in turn helps the Amish congregations thrive in this area. Founded in 1760, the Lancaster Amish group is considered the oldest and largest in the world. 291 church districts make up this subgroup, and they are scattered throughout the United States. This group has daughter settlements in Wisconsin, Indiana, New York, and Maryland. All church districts are considered to be part of the same affiliation, but each has its own interpretation on technology usage. This allows each congregation to decide how much technology they will permit without forcing each congregation to follow the same rules. The people in this area use farming as a major form of living, but this group does also benefit from the high amount of tourism that passes through on a daily basis. The Lancaster Amish are considered one of the more progressive subgroups, with the conservative members generally found in the lower portion of the county. This subgroup is also home to nickel mines. In 2006, this Lancaster community experienced a school shooting that caused the death of 5 Amish girls and 5 others to be wounded. In this horrific incident, the Amish forgave the shooter and mourned their losses with Mrs. Roberts, the shooter's wife. This showed the outside world the forgiveness the Amish can have towards others, and sparked much media frenzy around the Amish belief. Next are the Geauga County Amish. The Geauga County Amish were founded in 1886. This group originally consisted of Old Order Holmes County Amish, who left the area in order to look for more and better farmland. The settlement is the second largest in the state of Ohio and is the 5th largest in North America. Among the groups of Amish in the area are several conservative groups. These groups are locally known as the Number Twos. Even though the members of the Amish group originated from Holmes County, that is 99 miles away, the members do not have good ties with one another. The youth in this area are known to be some of the wildest among many Amish subgroups and give the Amish youth a bad reputation. The Holmes Old Order Amish were established in Holmes County, Ohio in 1808. With a population of around 35,000, they are the largest group in central Ohio, including Holmes, Wayne, and Tuscarawas counties. In consideration to modernization within the group, they are more progressive than the Schwarzentroober Amish, and they discourage bed courtship and smoking. They are more conservative than New Order Amish, though. They own many of the large businesses throughout Holmes County, but they prefer to have farming as their main occupation. On their farms, they use milk machines, solar panels, and battery banks for lights. They are more likely to use cell phones than the New Order Amish, but they will not allow phones inside their homes due to their ordnung. The Buchanan-Medford Amish were established in 1914 over a split from the Kelowna Amish to preserve their conservative faith. They started in Iowa, but now have a presence in 19 states. Their group includes around 20,000 people, and they are considered an old order affiliation. They are fairly conservative, having no indoor plumbing, such as a sink, flush toilets, and a bathtub. Their ordnung also discourages the use of tractors, chainsaws, bikes, and propane gas. The group is allowed to have some modern amenities, such as motorized washing machines and pressurized lamps. Buchanan Medford Amish were also involved in a major Supreme Court case, Wisconsin v. Yoder. They were allowed the right to complete their children's education after the 8th grade, so their children could start helping on the farms. The last of the groups we're going to talk about today are the Swiss Adams Amish. The Swiss Adams Amish were established in 1850 in Indiana. With a population of around 8,500 people, their members currently reside in 5 states. This group of Amish differs from other groups because they speak a form of Bernese Swiss German. They may also speak some Pennsylvania Dutch and English, but they tend to only marry other Bernese Swiss German speakers. Their buggies are also different, as they have no roof, but they do provide a kid box to protect their children from the weather. They have a fairly strict ordnung, which restricts technology and home shops, so their main occupation is farming. The Swiss Amish also sing a lot, including their folk tradition of yodeling during their family time. Next, we're going to talk about what questions you guys had over Amish subgroups. Question 1. Why are there so many different Amish groups? If they all claim to be Amish, shouldn't they all live by the same rules, therefore be called the same? Well, the Amish are separated into many groups for several reasons, making it difficult to label them all under the same name. There are differing levels of acceptance when it comes to using technology, interactions with the outside world, and interpretations of the ordnung. The Amish prefer to live a simple and plain lifestyle, and they frown upon the temptations and unknowns that the Amish are exposed to, that the non-Amish are exposed to when using technology as often as we do. Some groups may be more lenient when it comes to helpfulness of technology, while others believe technology will tempt them to sin. These minor differences for non-Amish people are huge for the Amish, influencing what groups they are affiliated with. Question 2. What are the different Amish subgroups? What determines the subgroup you are in? How do these subgroups compare to the first Amish group? Well, there are 4 main Amish groups: the Old Order, New Order, Mennonite, and Beachy Amish. There are many subgroups under each, adding up to over 40 subgroups total. The subgroup you belong to is based on your beliefs on the use of technology, dress, and relationship to the outside world, all depending on your community's ordnung. Most people will join it and be baptized into the subgroup they were born into, while others may leave to marry into another group or totally leave the faith. All of these subgroups are based on the first Amish group. They want to live a plain life, separating themselves from the outside influences to focus on their obedience to God. Question 3. I wonder how many subgroups there actually are. I wonder if these subgroups relate or feud amongst one another. I wonder what exactly differentiates them. I wonder which subgroup I'd most come into contact with, if any. There are over 40 subgroups within the Amish, and all are based off the 4 main Amish subgroups which I mentioned before in question 2. Depending on their affiliation, subgroups will relate with some other subgroups while disagreeing with others based on ordnungs and the influence of the outside world on their community, such as technology, dress, and occupation. One may find it easier to run into the New Order Amish, as they have less limitations on their ordnung and work more with the outside world, whether it be their businesses, tourism, or just plain old grocery shopping. Question 4. Are the members of different subgroups friends with each other, or do they despise one another? Are there marriages between different subgroups? Is one forced to convert to the other and be banned by their own? Well, the basis of the Amish faith is to do as Jesus did. Their faith teaches their members to be patient and tolerant of others. Because of Jesus' teachings, they do not despise one another. There are fellowships or friendships between subgroups that are created if these groups developed in the same community, and most groups are just fine with intermarriage between groups. This is mainly the case when groups share ordnung values or modern technology, as conservative groups may be wary if their son or daughter marries into a more liberal or modern group. When marrying into another's community, the new member will have to adjust and heed to new rules set upon them, especially if they're marrying into a conservative group. The families are accepting of their child's wishes, especially if the marriage will continue to challenge and develop their child's relationship with God. Question 5. How many Amish groups are there? Are they considered a cult? To start off, there are 4 major groups within the Amish. Again, they are the Beachy Amish, Amish Mennonites, Old Order Amish, and New Order Amish. There are many subgroups of each larger group, and there isn't an exact number of subgroups, as there are new groups always forming. To answer the question if the Amish are considered a cult, the answer would be no, they aren't considered a cult. A source named Amish Studies classifies a cult as a group with one authoritarian leader who demands unquestioning obedience of all Amish people, and the Amish don't fit that definition. They all follow God's word, but the Amish are made of many subgroups, each with its own bishop and ministers who follow their own ordnung. Lastly is question 6. Within the Amish groups mentioned in the first section, like the Mennonites, Old Order Amish, and New Order Amish, are there subgroups under that divide them up even more? As a matter of fact, there are many subgroups within these mentioned groups. On page 139 in our textbook, The Amish, there are 40 groups classified under the 4 main Amish groups, and there are more groups that weren't even mentioned as well. Shown here are our references for the Amish subgroups presentation. Thanks for watching, everybody.